everyone, it's Amanda and I'm back again with my March wrap-up. So I'm gonna jump right into this because I have a lot of books to talk about. First book I read in March is Falls the Shadow by Stephanie Gaither. This book had such an interesting premise where this world, you have a clone of yourself. So if you die, your parents can just bring out the clone. But this is a very controversial practice. The main character's sister has just died and they go to pick up her sister's clone. And I was so excited to read this and to read what was going to happen. But this book really fell flat for me. It was not very exciting. It was strange. This kind of started out really good and really went downhill quickly. And then there was this unnecessary romance that just didn't need to be there. It almost felt like the author was like, well, I'm writing a YA, so I better throw in a romance because teenagers love that stuff. I don't know, that's just what it felt like. It was just strange to me. It didn't make any sense for the story. So I ended up giving it 2 out of 5 stars and I really struggled to finish that one. Then I read The Haven by Carol Lynch Williams. This one took me forever to read and it's a short book. It's only a little over 200 pages, I think. I don't have it anymore. I also don't have Falls the Shadow because I took them to half-price books. But this one took me 3 weeks to read. Usually I think, oh, 200 pages, I can read that in a day. No, I did not want to pick it up. I was bored to tears with this book. It sounded good. It's about this place called The Haven. Something happens, the one main character starts to think that this place that they're at, something's not right with it. And I don't want to say much because it is a short book, but I wasn't impressed. I ended up giving it 1 out of 5 stars because it was just really slow, not very original, and not very good. Then I read Precious and Fragile Things by Megan Hart. This was pretty interesting for the plot. It's about a woman who is at a stop sign and a man jumps in her car and abducts her. She has her children with her and finds a way to leave her children in a safe place. Ends up getting taken to this cabin with this man and they end up staying there for a long time. Started out really good and then it just really dragged. This book was way too long for its own good. If this book would have been edited better and a lot of the kind of downtime would have been edited out, it could have packed much more of a punch because there's a lot of time where they're just together in this cabin playing games and just day-to-day things that aren't that exciting. Not a whole lot of action going on. I ended up giving it 2.5 stars and I didn't keep that one. Then I read Embrace Me by Lisa Sampson. This one I got from Paperback Swap, which by the way, I have been a Paperback Swap fan since I discovered it. It's been great. This is a Christian fiction book and it had to do with a freak show, so I wanted to get it because I thought that sounded really good. The main character, her name is, I don't even remember her name. Anyway, I don't remember the main character's name. She is in this freak show as Lizard Woman. She has been badly burned and so that's how she makes a living. She lives with all these people. It's the off season and she lives with all these freaks, which is not a nice name, but they're all people that are in this show. And it just was really interesting. It's a story of forgiveness and repentance and it was enjoyable. I really liked the story. It was really well written. I would definitely pick up another book by this author. She's very good at painting the picture and telling the story. It is a Christian fiction, but it isn't heavy on the preachiness or the Christian kind of stuff. There are a lot of Christian morals and stuff like that, but it's not extremely preachy. You know what I mean? Like some books are very preachy or very Christian themed. This one I think would appeal to many people. I ended up giving it 5 stars and was very happy to read it. Then I read Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I jumped on the bandwagon and bought this book. It was only like $11 or something on Amazon, which is really good for the size of the book. And it does have this very cool Dutch jacket and the book's really cool, but I won't be keeping this one. I'm probably gonna take this to half-price books at some point because I really was not impressed. A lot of people love this book. It is very cool in that it is told in a very unique way. It's not a normal story. Everything is, it's all emails and documents and just different things like that. I would say that the first half of this book would get 1 star for me. If I wouldn't have paid full price for this book, I probably would have DNF'd it. I'm gonna be honest. It read like a textbook. I was bored. I didn't find it that interesting. I thought the concept was good, but I was just really bored with what was happening. Then, right around the middle, it did really start to pick up and it got very interesting. And the last half, I would probably give 3 stars. I still wasn't loving it, but I definitely was enjoying it much more than I had been. And of course, the first half, they were setting up the story and setting the scene, so it couldn't be super exciting, but it still was just not enjoyable for me. So I ended up giving this 3 stars because I kind of averaged my 1 star, 4 stars for the second half. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. I would have given the second half 4 stars. So I averaged it and gave it a 3, but I'm not going to continue with this. I just thought it was very long and wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be. Then I read These Things Hidden by Heather Gudenkoff. I gave this 4 stars. It's about a woman who's getting out of prison for a crime that it doesn't talk about in the synopsis. So I'm not going to talk about it, but it has to do with her and her sister's relationship and what happens when she gets out of prison. This was pretty good. It wasn't as good to me as Little Mercies by this author, but I do really like her writing style. She's very good at pulling you in and making the characters very real. I have, I think, almost all of her books. She has a new one that I'd like to get, but I enjoy her writing a lot. So I ended up giving it 4 stars, and I would recommend this if you like darker contemporary